Here.
Hello, everyone. It is episode 99. We're here another muggy evening in the UK, and look, we are joined by the very, very classy Thomas. Hello, how are you?
Doing great. How you guys doing?
Yeah,
Living
good.
the sweaty, muggy dream
yeah.
at the moment. It's the weather can't quite decide what it wants to do.
Yeah, it's sunny and hot here in North Carolina, in the US.
Nice.
Oh,
So thanks for joining us, Thomas. Great to. I mean, obviously, I've streamed with you numerous times on the Let's Get Nuts show on a Sunday night. So it's nice to see you on our own show for the first time. So welcome.
Thank you.
I think everyone would agree you are a very classy addition to the network.
I'm glad somebody can say that. I've waited 58 years for someone to call me classy.
and you've risen from the ranks of
right.
supporter of the network and fan to one of the gangs. So it's brilliant. It's great.
Absolutely.
So episode 99. Probably quite a short one tonight. But obviously we're all salivating about the episode 100 in 2 weeks' time. So we will certainly looking to have a great show for you then. But tonight, should I give a shout out? Go on, mate.
I was just going to say there hasn't been a massive amount, but there's been a couple of interesting things that's just come up, which I'm quite interested to hear what everyone thinks on them. So so let's have a look. Who we got in the chat then? We got I'll tell you, I'm going to send out a search party the one time this man doesn't turn up. Toy Mafia.
Oh yeah.
He's been here for 2 hours.
Yeah, he's a very patient man. Very patient.
Yep.
Who else we got? Caffeinated comic fan. See, I pronounced it properly this time.
Happy Turds
We got
Day.
Lane. Nice. Yeah. We got Mr. Lane. Here he is.
Hi, Lane.
And Yomo. Yes, it is. I bet it's hot there. Nice one to put his mugshot on as well, which was quite good.
Yeah, I know. Yeah. And we got
and
Defet
Defet
as well as
Defet.
Yeah.
And Toy Mafia again. So here we go. Cool. Right. Let's get cracking. So, CW, what did we say just before we came on? 15 subscribers away from the 3,000 mark to get the Hot Toys aborted baby fetus that is Carnage.
Yeah.
Every time I look at that figure, I'm sick in my mouth ever so slightly, but in a good way. Like, it is the most horrendous figure.
I know.
It's so
I love
moist,
it though.
Moist.
Yeah. I'm looking so forward to. I mean, I'm hoping to become inspired to take mine out of the box because I just don't have any place to put it yet. I'm waiting for some Macha cases to come in, so hopefully I'll be able to get him and Venom in a case together and just let them duke it out. But that is one spectacular figure right there.
Yeah.
Have you not even had a little peek yet, Thomas?
Say what?
Have you not even had a little peek in the box yet?
I have had a peek. So I've kind of opened it up to inspect it, but I just haven't had a chance to take it out of the box and play with it any. So so that's what I'm looking forward to is the time when I can have a little bit of play time and then find a great pose for him and then put him on display. So yeah, that's usually what I try to do before I put something in the case. I always like to just play with it a little bit. Like if it's got a cape, I've got to go shh and make it fly around the room and just have a good time and then just put them up in the case a little bit. Take me back to some innocent days where I could just be fun and carefree.
Very nice. Very nice. Do you know what? It's genuinely nice to hear someone going, I got a figure, I couldn't display it straight away, but at least I checked it over.
Exactly.
In the groups the other day, there was like, I think it was a DeLorean or something, and they were like, yeah, I got it when it first came out, and I finally opened it, and it's absolutely fucked. And I'm like, but
no.
Do you...
No.
Why? Why would you not at least, like, particularly... I get, like, okay, you buy like £150 figure, you kind of go, all right, I can probably I can probably just leave that and fine. But a fucking DeLorean, are you kidding me? As soon as that gets in, it doesn't matter how busy I am. Yeah, I'm going to be opening that and going, right, how fucked is it? Because this thing was absolutely fucked, apparently. Like, the chairs were knackered, like, the lot. And then they go back to the reseller. They're like, not a lot I can do about it. It's been, like, 6 months. Like, what do you want me to do?
No.
Mad.
Lesson to all.
Absolute
just check
madness.
your figure over. Just make sure everything's in there. Nothing's broken. You haven't got any paint scuffs or anything, because it's a lot easier to get it sorted straight away. Even if you're not going to get them out of the box, just have a look. Because, this is the problem. People say, "Oh, brand new, never opened." But I'd rather buy from someone that's opened it and even got it out and put it on the shelf for 2 weeks, because you then know that there's no issues with it.
In this game, second hand really doesn't mean anything. Like, fuck all. It means nothing. It's just it's the only thing in the world where you buy it for more money second hand. And everyone's like,
isn't that crazy?
Yeah, it's mental. You don't do it with anything else. Like, you'd go, no thanks. You know, if it was a car, you drive it around the block, take it back, and go, I'll give you another $4,000 on top for it. Like, but it's mad. Nothing else works like that.
Yeah,
it's insane.
I don't think any of us have got anything new this week, but I did get in the 3 droid pack from Book of Boba Fett for my son for Christmas, and I opened it all up. I got it out. I made sure the joints are okay, that there was nothing broken. Because I certainly don't want him opening that Christmas Day and find that. I mean, he'll probably snap. He'll probably snap one of the legs off himself, but at least I can't blame anyone else for that. So
what's that Simpsons? What's that Simpsons episode where Ralph's running along with his carded Chewbacca, and he falls down and he's like bent it all over, and he's like, "Oh, I bent my Wookiee." It'd be like that on Christmas Day if you didn't open it up. Yeah, just absolutely fun.
Yeah, exactly. So. Always check them out. Definitely. But no, that'd be a great day. And I say, when you unbox those, Thomas, it does look like a beast of a figure. You've got the Venom to go with it, which is really cool. So for only, go on.
I was going to say, Defet, you're a man after my own heart. I had exactly the same thing where the bloke was like, "Well, I don't smoke, none of my other figures stink of smoke," and I'm like, "Mate, this cunt's bright yellow." Like, you clearly do. Luckily, I can fix it. But
I think this guy probably really, I don't know, he might have hated you so much that he said, "I don't smoke, but I'm going to buy a cigarette, blow it into that box before I mail it to you, and then let you have it." From a non-smoking household.
Seal it up. In a vacuum packed bag.
It's madness, because I was like, look, it stinks of smoke, I can fix it, I can bleach stuff, I can do whatever. Like, just give us a tenner off it or something for the aggro of having to go out and deal with it. Nope. And I was like, do you know what? The figure was cheap anyway. So Eddie's logic was, no, you got it cheap enough in a way, and I don't smoke, and all my other figures are fine. I've sold loads and no one's bothered. I'm like, but this fucking reeks. I was like, fine, all right. So I didn't leave him negative feedback. It's got it off eBay, right? I just went straight in with neutral, turned up dead quick, but stank of smoke. Right, and then about a week later, I was going through and I was like, "Why is my feedback different?" Went in and went, "Oh, okay." He's now left me negative feedback, going, "Scammer, trying to get money off me, claiming it stinks of smoke." And I'm like, mate, I practically got black lung when I took a whiff of that thing. Like, it was fucking horrendous. Like, no chance. But just a little moan for a Thursday night, really.
But never been unfortunate enough to get one that reeks of smoke. Fortunately,
I had that statue of Courtstale Gandalf as well.
Exactly the same. That's right. Yeah, you've had a couple, haven't you?
And those statues are not cheap at all.
Well, this one was, because it was absolutely fucked. Yeah, I don't know what the guy had done,
arm.
But the arm was knackered, and he tried fixing it with, like, he'd obviously taken a shelf dive at some point, and he tried fixing it with what looked like expanding foam. But where, instead of just carefully taking all the clothes off and looking where it was stitched, he just cut like a massive hole in the arm. And I like a bit of a project. I have a little tradition around Christmas time. I'll pick up something fucked on purpose. I'll search for something fucked, and I'll try and fix it best I can, repaint it and see what I can do with it. And this was like my little Christmas project. But literally, the clothes were soaking in like a bucket of bleach for 3 days. took a wipe across its face, and it was like, no one ladies take makeup off, and they go, "Here, look at that." It was like that. It was absolutely rank. It was horrible. Yeah, that was.
That's a true fixer-upper right there.
Oh, it literally, it couldn't have been any more fucked than it was. Like, it was knackered. But yeah, I do like me a project. So
we're within 2015 10 subscribers for 3,000. So with a bit of luck, that'll be next week. Will be the big week for that giveaway. So that'd be brilliant. Big landmark for the network as well. So yeah. And then we have
very good.
Our own giveaway. So courtesy of Lane Kramer, very generous contributor.
Yeah, Lane's in the chat. Hey, Lane.
Yep. So he has very generously donated the SH Figuarts Carnage from the Let There Be Carnage movie. So smaller scale, but he's still a beast in terms of the SH Figuarts lineup. So this will be a live giveaway on episode 100 in 2 weeks' time. We haven't worked out the details yet, but it will be, you need to be watching live, and we'll have some sort of questions or whatever going on, and we'll have to work. I suppose if it's probably easier if someone in the States wins it, because that's where it is at the moment. But we'll have to work out what we do with shipping and stuff. But join us in a couple of weeks' time.
Now, is this a statue or a figure?
It's a figure. They're
figure.
very very posable. Yeah, very posable figures. So what is it, like a 7? The human figures would be about 7 inches, I think. So he's about 10 inches, scale with them. So still
I've never seen that one.
Quite a beefy figure for that scale anyway. So So that is
if
really
you
cool.
if you have the Hot Toys one and the SH Figuarts, and you can have like regular Carnage, and this could be Carnage's little baby Carnage.
Yeah, great. Yeah.
Kind of like like Grogu. I think this is his name. The one that I every time I look at it, I just have to call it little mini Yoda, because I don't know. I mean, is that supposed to be Yoda as a baby, or I'm not that figure. It's an actual different character.
Species, but
Yeah, because I'm not as as familiar with a lot of the Star Wars universe, but all I know is I looked and said, "Hey, look, there's a little baby Yoda."
That's what he was called for 2 seasons until we found out what his name was, Grogu. So yeah, he was referred to as Baby Yoda for a long time, but not because he's Yoda. But.
Well, this is a cool giveaway. Cool. I mean, whoever gets this is going to be a winner in every respect.
Definitely. So we kind of, I don't think anybody's got any real new this week. So I've got a couple of bits that I haven't actually got yet. I should have in a few days. So I've kind of put them in custom corner. So I think we'll jump to the one release that I'm aware of this fortnight. There might be some more, but the only one that we've got here is
so slow, isn't it?
Yeah, it has. It's just really slowed up. So we've got the Hot Toys. I think it's called the Black Panther Legacy figure. So it's the suit from the original movie with the classic kind of panther head helmet, and the modern helmet as well, and the weapons and stuff. Obviously, this was announced following the passing of Chadwick Boseman. A very sad, very tragic story, and so it's nice to see another re-release of that figure. I think people are saying that it's the same head sculpt as the original one, which is a bit of a shame, because it would be nice to think that they'd have made the effort to do a new sculpt. But I don't think it looks too bad, and obviously the paint apps are going to be better than the original.
Right.
Thomas, you've got this coming in, yeah?
It's going to arrive tomorrow. It was scheduled to arrive tomorrow. So cool. I'm very excited about this. I actually have a a detolf over here that has nothing but Black Panther figures in it. So,
Oh,
so
wow.
I'm waiting for
Kind of got all
him.
of them, have you?
Yeah, well, I only have the movie version of Black Panther. I
Yeah.
have his father. I've got
Yeah.
two of the Killmongers, and then I have like a couple of third party ones, third party things like of him dressing as regular clothes and stuff that I have his head on with that. So I'm kind of looking forward to
Nice.
getting this and then getting the Shuri Black Panther,
Shuri,
because then that way
yeah.
I can really make a great display with all of those figures. Oh, and I wound up getting this. I got the Sideshow's Black Panther statue, which turned out very nice. I'm very pleased with that. So I have like a nice little. Oh, sorry about that. I have a nice little corner of my place is dedicated to Black Panther. I have a couple of masks that my parents, when they passed away, I actually took them and I'm going to repurpose them because they're African masks and things like that. So I'm going to have them
Cool.
up there in the in that little corner over there, and that's just going to be nothing but my little Black Panther stuff. I'm still debating whether or not I'm going to take this one and put him with the Avengers, but there's so many Avengers over there right now. I think he can be dedicated to his own little spot. I think. Yeah. So yeah, I love this. I was so excited when this was first announced, because it has enough things in there that are different that it'll make it a nice addition to there. And I don't mind having a couple of figures that are similar. I just, this one's going to be a little bit more updated enough that I think it'll make a true difference. So
Yeah.
I'm
So
very
would you-
excited.
Do you see yourself displaying this one with the head sculpt and maybe the original one with the mask? Would that be how you would do it? Or
I actually bought a, I can't remember the name of the company that made this, but they make a a shoulder and neck mount that you can
Right.
put a head or a
okay.
or thing
Yeah.
on there.
Like a
and
bust.
so exactly, bust exactly, and
Yeah.
it's actually made to look like the Black Panther bust. So I'm probably going to take his head sculpt off and pop it on there, but I want to use the removable mask. I have an extra couple of Chadwick Boseman head sculpts that I said, well,
Okay.
I won't worry about whether or not they'll get rubs or things like that from the mask. So I'll probably pop one of those on there and then use the actual put on take off mask, and then put the other head sculpt on my little bust. But yeah, so I definitely, but yeah, I love that Panther slip on mask. That one just looks so
Yeah, it looks great. Yeah.
good.
Yeah.
Yeah,
it does
as you
look
say,
good.
it's good. You've got spares, so you can just leave that on there. You don't need to take it on and off. So yeah, that's
Yeah, I
cool,
even
man.
have
I
I
think
even
it's
bought
like-
an actual Panther. I love the those resins. Well, when they're done well, I found a couple of companies that make really, really good animals. So I bought a Black Panther. And so the Panther's actually in, I guess I'm going to let it be Bast. I think that's the Panther god. So I think I'm going to let that Panther be in the, not in the cage, in the display with the rest of them. But yeah, I'm all Panther down. I got the throne. I mean, I'm just
you're
all,
like
look,
super
I,
fan.
I'm completely in.
Loving it.
I'm completely
Yeah,
in
yeah,
there.
yeah. You're going balls deep into this. This is
Yeah,
this is
yeah, I
impressive
love it.
stuff. Yeah, it's a shame. It's a shame he passed away so soon,
Yeah.
because the knock-on effect is that where you look at it, like a lot of the other Marvel stuff, a lot of the suits kind of look the same, but when you look at the first suit and you look at the most up-to-date suit, they're very different. He didn't get that breadth of suits,
Right.
So me not being a massive Marvel, because I've said no more Marvel, like I'm not doing it.
Yeah.
So like I've completely kind of take it or leave it. I kind of look at this and go, to me it just doesn't look any different to like the others, apart from like accessories and the slip-on mask and stuff. So it's a shame, and it's not because they couldn't be asked. It's just because he didn't get that long playing that character compared to everyone else who then had like look at all the Captain Americas where they went, and this suit we're going to take the A off, or this time we're going to put it on a different pouch, and you're like, oh, for fuck's sake. But like, he didn't get any of that. He just literally was like, that's your Black Panther suit, and that's pretty much your lot. Like, you didn't get that progression, which is a shame. So it makes it really hard when I look at something like this. I go, I don't know what you're on about. It looks the same as the rest. Like,
and it was really sad about the black suits. I think that Black Widow kind of, to me, falls in a little bit of the same category. I mean, there's only so much you can do with a black suit, and so they made a few modifications that made it a little bit different. The thing that made her a little different was that they made significant enough changes with her head sculpt and with what they did with her hair. And things like that. So I think that kind of made it a little bit different. But you're right that these suits for Black Panther, there really isn't a lot of change, but it does look like they updated the body a little bit. So I'm going to be really interested to
a little bit.
See them side by side and see what they look like.
But
nice.
It looks good. Our one release of the last 2 weeks. Like,
yes.
Great. So up and coming, this I think we're all going to be quite interested in. As I was like, do you know what? I'm out of Lord of the Rings as well. It's going to be too expensive. I can't be asked. This pops up, which is the Dragonplay Dark Ruler, 350 quid at Q1 2024. So when you're just skint after Christmas, bang, that's the time. So this is 59 inches tall.
Wow.
That is
centimeters. 59 inches would be
centimeters. Sorry, that would be about my size. Sorry.
Yeah.
Centimeters.
That's a quarter scale figure right there. I mean, no, wait a minute. That's probably getting close. Probably right in between a true quarter scale and a third scale. It's like inching up.
Yeah, because
it's effectively a Hot Toys quarter scale on the massive oversized stands that they insist upon giving us, which means you can't fit it into any kind of big display case like this. I mean, it looks really good.
Yeah.
But it's basic.
Now,
I like
what character is this? Now, this is clearly
this
from
is
Lord of the Rings, right?
So this is Sauron. So this is he's the big
baddie.
That's
actually
So at the
I thought Sauron was just the eyeball. So
at the beginning of the first movie, Fellowship of the Ring, you see him in this form, and this is at the end of the Second Age when the elves and men join forces together to defeat him, and that's when the ring's cut from his finger. And so his physical form is destroyed at that point. And that begins the third age of Middle Earth, and then obviously the eye is him kind of coming back, but he's got no physical form as such. So this is really cool. The only and I would love to have it. It's about £350, something like that. Q1 2024. I don't know the company at all.
Plus postage.
So yeah. I don't know the company at all. I don't know if they've released anything before. It's a big price gamble to go with to pre-order this, and it's a difficult one because, like you were saying with Carnage, you're waiting for new cabinets, and he's probably 14, 15 inches tall. This guy's 24 inches, and it's a huge amount of space, and there's only really one Lord of the Rings character I can think of that anybody's bought out that you could display with him, and that would be Elrond, because Asmus brought out Elrond in his outfit from that battle. But this is thousands of years before the Fellowship of the Ring. So there isn't really any... He doesn't take this form again. So it's a cool one, but it's difficult because there's not really anybody to pose with him directly. I don't even. I mean, yeah, Gandalf wasn't even around then, so. And I'm still going to talk about Gandalf, the Art Gandalf, a bit later. So I really like it, but I'm not going to commit to it purely because I don't know the company. If it comes out and it turns out to be an absolute banger, then I might look at it. But yeah, I'm going to just watch with interest at the moment. But yeah,
did they say what the armor is made out of? Is it plastic or okay?
It's going to be plastic. I'm sure it is.
Okay.
I can't see it being not for that price.
Okay.
You know, yeah, I will watch with interest. I hope it's really good, but I think it's a bit of a risk to pre-order it. I think, not knowing them at all.
Yeah.
But it's good because I don't think anybody else would have made one. So,
but that is some impressive armor. I mean, that's so detailed.
Yeah, it's a great. It's a great look. I do love the look. And he comes with this massive, great like mace, which he kind of just sweeps like masses of soldiers away, but swinging it around and everything. But yeah, no, it'd be good if we got an Isildur or his dad. I can't think of his name. Mark will chuck it in a minute. One of those guys, or the Gil-galad, who Asmus have teased. So there are possibility of some figures you could pair him up with on the horizon. But yeah, it was definitely an interesting one when I saw that come up. I was like, ooh. This one not so much.
No. So if you want a very sickly looking Chris Pine, this is your one. This is the 3-0. The Dungeons Dragons Edgin Darvis. So this is 160 quid at Q4 2023. So just in time for Christmas. Yeah, I'm not a fan.
No. I think the issue with it is he's quite a boring character. I liked the film. I enjoyed the film. But
he doesn't do fuck all.
As a fig... No. And as a figure, he's got a little knife and he's loot or whatever you want to call that, and then some hands. He's just not interested. There's no weapons. He's got no, and I just don't even like the look of the outfit or anything. Some of the other characters are a bit more interesting, but yeah, I just think, who's going to buy this?
It's kind of odd for 3-0 to do a figure with so few accessories, because they usually come correct with the accessories.
But he at least has nothing in the film.
He doesn't have anything but a knife and a loot. Yeah.
He literally runs
with a knife, to be honest.
I can't remember what he does with a knife. He runs around and he hits people in the head with the loot, and occasionally he plays a song. Like it, wasn't. It was. I mean, the film was okay. It was all right, but
I enjoyed the movie, but certainly,
it's almost like they were obligated to make this. Like it's.
And
not great.
And unless we see some of the other characters who are a little bit more interesting, but then again, the one's just a magician. The most interesting one is the girl that can change into an owl bear or different animals, but you can't represent that. You're not going to get, it's just going to be her in her. Yeah, that's it, Elendil. So Elendil or Isildur would be good to go with Sauron, but nobody's made them yet. So this one, I don't doubt it'd be decent, because 3-0 have done a really good job on the Game of Thrones figures and the Rambo figures lately. The quality would be good, but I don't know who'll be buying this, to be honest. And that doesn't. And
they've done a smashing job on with The Walking Dead also.
Yep.
I think I have just about every one of those pieces. And,
oh wow!
And I love them.
Yeah. And all of the stuff, the Transformers stuff they've done has been brilliant as well. So they're good company, but I think that this could be the start and end of this line right here.
Yeah, I think.
So, unfortunately.
Yeah, not great. This next one, though, I think we're all going to be in agreement is pretty good. So this is the Hot Toys Dewback and Sand Trooper. So it'd be 640 quid for the pair. That's Q3, Q4 2024. Or you can get the Dewback on its own for 440, or the Sand Trooper on its own for 250. So There's something for everyone there. If you've got the old Sideshow Sand Trooper and you want the dewback, fill your boots. If you want both, happy days. If you're like me and you're only really interested in the Trooper, there's something for everyone with that one. Prices are a bit steep though. $250 just for the Trooper is a bit eye-watering. It's an iconic. It's probably one of the most iconic Troopers. I mean, and having it as its standalone piece on the dewback would be fantastic, and it does look great. I think they're a little bit cheeky though with the exclusive coming with a different faceplate and an arm for the dewback is a little bit naughty. You know, an exclusive should be like an extra part or something, not an actual changeable.
Does that only come with the 2-pack?
I think you can get the dewback as a special edition.
Yeah, but it still has
the
interchangeable bits. Yeah. So I'll let you go first, Thomas, because I know you're not a massive Star Wars fan, so you might not have too much to say on this. What do you think?
Yeah, I mean, you're right. I don't know anything about it. I had to ask somebody on the last stream I was on what the dewback was, so I could kind of get a frame of reference. But it's an impressive looking figure. I mean, the sculpting on it is absolutely amazing. I mean, it looks like real. I'm going to say reptile skin because I don't really know. That's the closest thing I can ascribe to it.
It's a lizard.
Yeah, a lizard. Yeah, but that is so. I mean, the detail. I mean, the amount of intricate sculpting they had to do is just is mind-boggling. I'm amazed with sculptors at what they can do, but this is absolutely a beautiful piece. It is humongous, and if I were a Star Wars fan, I mean, if I were all into Star Wars, that would be something I would want. If I had, actually, it's something I would want regardless of whether or not I had the space. I would probably make space somewhere. It will go. It might not go in my collecting room. I might just stick it in a spare bedroom or something like that, and slap a trooper on it if I didn't have room somewhere else. And then just walk into that room and look at it every once in a while. But that's beautiful. That really is beautiful.
Yeah, and look at the size of it. So it's 80 centimeters long. About 35 centimeters wide and 37 centimeters high without a trooper on the back. So it's an absolute beast. It's about the size of it's as long as the Batmobile 89 Batmobile pretty much. So to give you my take, I think it's brilliant. I absolutely love it. I think it's great that Hot Toys have done this because for years people have been overpaying for the Sideshow statue. That came out a long time ago, which was okay, but the prices were getting ridiculous on it, to the point where I picked up a Hasbro 6-scale one for, I don't know, about £30, and I repainted it and I remade all the saddle and stuff in leather and everything, because I wasn't going to pay, $1,000 or something for the Sideshow piece. It was made of polystyrene. It was huge. It was heavy. I didn't think it was that great, so this is good. I like this. As Thomas said, the detail in the skin, all the soft goods. I mean, obviously it's going to be pleather, which is unfortunate, but the fur's interesting because I never really noticed it, and obviously the Hasbro certainly doesn't have any fur on the creature. I think I like the closed mouth better. The teeth are a bit manky. I like the raised leg, I think, but obviously what they've done here is, there's some people saying, I'm going to get two, so at least you can have a different look and a different pose if you've got two, one with the mouth open and you can swap. And that would be an amazing display, and I would love to have this, but on size alone, I mean, the Hasbro one's probably about half the size of this, so it's under scale. It means that I can get it on top of my cabinets with a trooper on and still clear the ceiling, whereas this would just devastate my room. It would just have to be on the coffee table and it would just take up everything. So in terms of the trooper, I think if you haven't got the Hot Toys Sand Trooper to me is probably the best trooper that Hot Toys have ever made. It's just I can't find fault with it. The helmet is quite different to the Stormtrooper because it's got that raised sort of brow, as they call it, on there. So I've got the original Hot Toys Sand Trooper, and it's a fantastic figure. So I think if you haven't got one, definitely look at picking the figure up on its by itself. Or if you have got him, it'd be great to pair him up, because obviously then you can recreate the famous Luxor droid scene with the orange Pauldron one on the back of the dewback, and this guy standing next to him. So I was kind of thinking maybe I'll pick the trooper up, but I think I'm happy with one. All I will say is I hope that they have used the original molds, because what you see now is that every single trooper that comes out and all the troopers that are in Mandalorian, Boba Fett, they're all based on the Rogue One armor, which is I don't like anywhere near as much as this. It seems quite gappy to me, and it doesn't have that classic look. I can't imagine this is anything other than the same mold as the original one they brought out. Probably 10 years ago, getting on for 10 years ago. And in that case, it's a fantastic figure. It looks like the weathering's a little bit heavier than the one I've got, which is good. So, they won't look like they're photo fits of each other. You get this different gun here, the one with the kind of the double round barrels, which is nice because that was sort of specific to this sergeant. So that's nice. You do get the ring. We don't know what that is. Presumably it's something that's fallen off R2 or 3PO, because otherwise, why does it signify that they found droids? Because if it's a part
maybe
of
it's from the Lord of the Rings. Maybe that is the Ring of Power.
Could be. If it's part of the escape ship, then it doesn't say that it's droids, does it? So I don't know what it's meant to be, but it's obviously quite a famous scene. So maybe one. I'll pick one up eventually, but I think for now the size of it, the space issue is a no for me. But
can I ask you a question about? Can I ask you a question about the troopers? This is something I've always wondered about. Do all the troopers? I know they have the different types. Like you have the stormtrooper and you have the sand trooper and you have the different types. And I imagine that their function is for what they do. But do all of them wear white armor, or do they have different types of armor?
They've originally always been white, weren't they? Certainly the original trilogy was all white.
Oh, okay.
And then you've got kind of shadow troopers and stuff like that popped up in like comics and games and things like that, which are just black versions. So there have been other colours and different versions. And then like spin-off type stuff.
Yeah, Rogue One brought in the Death Troopers, didn't they? The black ones, and then we had red. Yeah. Were they Sith Troopers or something? But white is the classic. You had the black TIE fighter pilots, which were a similar look with the helmet and stuff, but different enough. Snow Troopers, ATAT drivers, mostly white. Which is
white, grey, and black is what the Empire seemed to like.
So
I guess that's a style
I get what you mean.
choice.
Pretty pricey this, but you do get. Although it might not look like
a sand base.
You get two guns. You get the sand base. But
the only time it's ever made sense.
Yeah, exactly. The feet will fit nicely in there because I've got a few of them. The backpack's quite nice. You've got the binoculars, two guns, so it's a good set. And it looks like you get this lance even if you're not buying the not that you'd have anything to do with it if he's not actually on the dewback, but by showing it there, I assume that you get it with the standalone trooper as well. Well done, Hot Toys. It's always great for me to see anything from the original trilogy, because I just feel like it gets a badly done, like with the Return of the Jedi was a bit lackluster. And this is a figure this guy was teased way like 10 years ago, not a dewback, but this guy on his own, and he was in that sideshow you know, the lost
That's it,
figures
yeah.
kind of list.
Yeah, they keep wheeling it out.
Along with that Death Star Commander, which Death Star Trooper Commander, whatever you want to call it, that we haven't actually seen go up for pre-order yet. So that could still be in purgatory. It'd be nice to see that one. But this is all good.
And then Hot Toys have teased a Sabine Wren from Ahsoka. Yeah, I'd pick this up. I think it looks pretty good. The armor's cool. I watched the first 2 episodes, so I'm up for this. This would do very nicely. Yeah, and no doubt we're going to see a hell of a lot more. Like a lot more. Yeah. Just based on those 2 episodes. I was like,
I know.
Yeah,
I mean,
that's gonna
like
happen.
all those
That's gonna happen.
droids. Yeah.
Yeah.
So many droids.
So much.
And obviously for you, like Rebels fans, this is just like a massive awesome.
I hope at some point they upgrade the Hasbro fucking hands that they've decided to put there.
Those hands are bad, aren't they?
Those hands and those fucking gauntlets look absolutely appalling. I mean, look at the shit paintwork on them. Like, thin your paints.
It's like someone's hand sculpted that gauntlet.
Yeah, they just look really bad. The rest looks really good. But instantly, my eyes are just drawn to them going, what the fuck is that? Like, what? But no, other than that, this looks pretty good.
Is this character a bounty hunter, kind of like Boba Fett?
Nope. So she's a Mandalorian, like Boba Fett, but she's not a bounty hunter. So in the Rebels TV series, she was just a rebel, really. But she's plays quite a big part in the Rebels TV series. So it's nice to see the live action counterpart. Be interesting to see if it comes with a head sculpt, which it should do. Like, if there's any Mandalorian that needs to come with a head sculpt, it's this one, because she spends 99% of her time without wearing the helmet.
And as I understand it, without having seen Rebels, which I'm going to go back and watch now, obviously, she inherited the blade from another guy, and she started to train as a Jedi. Is that correct?
Yes, so effectively, So she wielded the Darksaber for a bit as well. So she's quite handy with a saber. So that's Ezra's old lightsaber that she's converted. Yeah. So he had a blaster attached to his, which was pretty cool.
Oh, okay.
But that's pretty much it. She started to train. I don't think she can use the Force though. I can't remember.
No, no, they haven't hinted at that thus far, have they? So, it's an interesting that they go with this one first. You'd have thought they'd have gone with the Ahsoka figure tease first, really, because that's not a massive.
Looking at what she's wearing in the first 2 episodes doesn't look any different to the last fucking 2 Ahsokas. Like, she looks exactly the same. Yeah. So I think they'd have to.
Maybe we'll get an outfit change.
Well, I think we'll either get an outfit change or they'll be holding that one back until the very end, because they would have no choice but to pack it full of accessories. And if they show it now, there's going to be spoilers there.
I think for me, I can't remember you'll tell her name, the general, the green girl.
Hela.
Yeah, that would be a really cool figure.
Yeah, that would be good.
Now, is that the one with the things coming off of her head?
Yes.
The
green one.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, the Twi'lek. Yeah. Yeah, I think she's got a good look, and we saw so many of those at Celebration, didn't we? People dressed up as her. And they were really cool. So I think she's, I'd probably consider picking her up just as a one-off, because I just think it's a really cool look. So. But I think there's going to be a shit ton of figures from this. We're going to get a Thrawn, So this is the floodgates about to open, I think. But we'll talk about the show in a little while.
But very, very, very much like the look of that. Not so keen on this one though. So this is our good friend Star Ace again. So this is the Rocky 3 Clubber Lang. This is the deluxe version, £339 our Q1 2024. Now, before we go in too hard on it, I don't think this is the worst thing they've ever released.
It's definitely not their worst. No,
Right.
No.
Oh,
No, I think compared
the worst
to
thing is
compared
that
to
is
some
that
of the
Rocky
other
2.
stuff. Yeah.
It's the worst one
Big
in his blackout, in his leather jacket and the hat. That is the worst.
Because that photo of him there on the right, not that you'd ever display him like that, doesn't actually look too bad. It's some of the other photos they showed which got progressively worse. But like I say, not the worst thing they've ever done. Like, not the instant absolute rip it to shit like Homelander and stuff like that.
Yeah. What I like about it is
expensive for what it is.
The one on the right, the deluxe one, he's 11.81 standing straight bolt upright. The one on the left, he's 11.81 inches when he's crouching. So actually, when he stands up straight, he's 12.5 inches. That's ridiculous.
When he stands up straight, he's the same height as that first one, that Dragon Play Dark Ruler.
Yeah.
Like, he's like,
Yeah, definitely. That's just funny that they've gone with that. I don't mind this one. Again, it's that whole people are going to complain about the generic. I assume it's a Fison or a Fison knockoff. I think for this one it works more than Stallone, because Stallone was not of a this sort of atypical kind of bodybuilder physique. I think you could get away with it for Clubber Lang. It's just the price. It's a massive price, isn't it? And
I'll have to check out the price of American money, but I would actually get not the deluxe, but I would get the other one just for the body.
Yeah.
Because I have so many figures that I want seamless bodies for, but Fison doesn't make brown bodies in anything other than the basketball size.
Because this is more.
So,
this looks more like the M34, doesn't it? With the slightly smaller.
But I have to
legs,
say that I
35,
really do like the deluxe head sculpt with the gritted teeth. That one actually looks pretty good.
Yeah.
I think the only thing you could say is if you buy the deluxe and you pick up another body, not a seamless, because it's and then you've got two figures. You use the one with the mouth piece, so that's not that bad if you look at it like that. If you pick up a sort of a 30-40 pound body, a big body, but it doesn't need to be a seamless, then you've got two figures. And I think then if you look at it that way, it's not so bad. And I don't mind the head sculpts, actually. I think they're all right. I mean, they won't come out like that, obviously.
Right.
That's the problem.
Exactly.
No, they never do.
They don't. Even when they
their renders always look amazing.
Yeah.
The renders look amazing. Their solicitation photos is always a massive drop off, and then by the time it gets released, it's an absolute turd of a figure. So
and I've always wondered why the prototypes are so different, because I'm like, well, if you were able to, like, especially when the sculpt changes, if you were able to sculpt a really good prototype, why change it? I mean, I can understand changing the paint applications, but there have been so many times where the actual face itself has been altered, and I'm like, you had a really good sculpt and got good feedback. Why didn't you keep that and just change your paint application? So that's the thing that has always stuck in my craw. I mean, I just never got it.
Yeah,
it's why the fuck have they suddenly got hold of Sideshow's Apple from 10 years ago and decided to put it next to their figure? I mean, it was ridiculous back then when Sideshow did it. And Star Race are like, I know what people know, or what a typical Apple looks like. So let's put it, but Apples come in all sorts of sizes, don't they? Really?
Exactly.
So,
I mean, is that organic? Is it, I mean, I need to know what type of apple it is. Yeah,
exactly. Yeah. It's just hilarious that the Star Race they just
literally use
just when you think
anything else other than the metric system.
Anything that just detracts your eye from the figure is put the apple in. People are that apple looks nice. I fancy an apple. Don't notice how shit the figure is and just pre-order it anyway.
You're not far wrong there, mate.
Nice one, Star Race. Yeah. How do you like them apples?
So look,
beautiful.
So while we're on Star Race, they've
I skipped
got
over
Ghostbusters.
it. I didn't want to talk about them anymore.
Yeah, they've got Ghostbusters, and I'm hoping they don't touch any of the actual people and they just stick to this soft vinyl nonsense.
It looks like they've just got these. Yeah, they're an odd scale.
Yeah.
I don't know what scale they are, but yeah.
Yeah, it's a weird one, but you can get a Stay Puft Marshmallow Man for 150 quid at Q1 2024. Because at this point, if you wanted this and you didn't have it, I don't know what the fuck's up with you. But yeah, a boss-eyed Stay Puft Marshmallow Man.
Yeah, I think that's the secondary head, isn't it? I think it comes with 2 heads. So, I mean,
I think so.
Outwardly,
I hope so.
It looks okay, and obviously this would scale with if you've got the Mezco figures, you know, the 6-inch figures. And there was another one that came out years ago that people were spending a lot of money on. I can't remember who made it. I think it was a lot bigger than this though, because this is not big enough for the Mezco. I mean, like he's like the size of a fucking skyscraper, isn't he?
Yeah.
So
something looks a little bit off with that head sculpt. I don't know what it is, but
it looks
something
ridiculous.
Doesn't look right about that.
I think it's just because he's trying to look to see where his nose has gone. I think that's the bit that's it's thrown. It's the boss-eyed like.
So hopefully all they're going to churn out is a Slimer and a Devil Dog. Because
I think I prefer my. I've got the Pop Toys, or what are those little Pop Toys? I mean, I've got the Marshmallow Man, and he's one of the tall ones. Looks amazing. Well, I mean, looks amazing. But yeah, I prefer it to this one. So, and also this one looks like it kind of went on a little bit of a diet. It doesn't have as round of a torso as I remember.
No.
Yeah. It's not as. It's not
he's spent a little time in the gym.
Yeah.
Slim down or something like that.
He's got himself in shape for 2023.
Yeah, it'd be interesting to see whether what scale the other two are, because if they could all be really different scales, because if they're all going to be about this size of figure, then none of them will fit in with each other. I don't really see the point of it. Or if you make Slimer, he'll be like the size of his thumb. So I don't really know what they're doing here, but
it's a weird one. Very, very weird.
Stories do better.
Definitely a pass.
Yeah. They very much need to.
They're bad.
So that was pretty much everything that was released and coming up. It's been a pretty short one. But I've got a feeling this one's gonna pretty much be the meat and bones of it.
This is very
you know
exciting.
all about this.
Yeah. So this is some news on the InArt Gandalf. So he is imminently shipping. So there was a post from InArt yesterday, I think, or the day before. I think it might be Tuesday. Yeah. The Lord of the Rings, Fellowship of the Ring, Gandalf the Grey, 1/6 collectible figure, configuration adjustment and product enhancement. We sincerely appreciate the patience for all collectors. We're delighted to announce this product is about to be shipped, which is awesome, because they did say they are a little bit behind, but they did say that they were expecting to start shipping this guy before the end of August. So it looks like they're going to make that. I'm on a second batch order from 1/6 Kit, because I didn't order him initially. But then when I ordered Aragorn, I thought, actually, I want the Gandalf. And luckily, Kit opened up another pre-order window for Gandalf. So I don't know if that means I'll kind of get a later one. I think people are saying there's a lot less of these than there was the Joker. So hopefully there won't be like a massive, because there was like 3-4 months between some people getting their Jokers and the last people getting them, wasn't there? So hopefully this isn't quite so staggered. So I'm hoping, I'll get an invoice fairly soon. So they go on to say, throughout the process of mass production and comprehensive distribution, we've repeatedly endeavoured to address the operational smoothness for the magnetic movable eyes. Now, I'm with Zach here. I don't even remember them talking about magnetic movable eyes, to be honest.
Yeah.
I assumed they'd be like a PERS, the little stick. So, nevertheless, an inherent element of randomness persists. Present, and we are unable to assure the control of tolerances within a stable range for this intricate process. In order to uphold the integrity of the products, we regrettably announce the discontinuation of the magnetic movable eyes configuration. Instead, we will replace it with the mechanical movable eyes consistent with the InArt, the Dark Knight, the Joker 1/6 collectible figures. So I can only assume that they kind of envisaged some sort of system where you wouldn't have to take the back of the head off to move the eyes. You could use this magnet either from the front or from behind to move them remotely, if you like. But to say I wasn't aware of that, and again, I'm not going to be. I'm going to mention. No, I don't either. So it was just like, oh, okay, this is not really an announcement I'm worried about. For me, I think I'm going to set his eyes, and that'll be it. I'm not going to be constantly taking the head off, because obviously with all that sculpted hair, yeah, you don't want to mess too much with that. Yeah, definitely. And the Joke-On was a bit weird. It looked like there was just a bit of blue tack in there and all sorts of stuff going on. So I think I'm going to set his eyes and be done with it. So then they've gone on to say that in the conception of Middle-earth, the origin of fireworks comes from Gandalf's magic. Therefore, to compensate for this change, and again, I don't feel like I'm losing anything, so it's good to get extra stuff. We've introduced 2 different firework accessories and optimized 2 details of the existing product. So we've got the mushroom toadstool looking firework, and the one that's kind of got maybe 5 or 6 rockets on it, all sort of taped together, which is really cool. I wouldn't ever display them with them, but nice to have extra stuff. We hope these new additions will provide you with more gameplay experiences. I think they're talking to you there, Thomas, with him, flying him around the room and throwing the fireworks at the wall and stuff like that. I'm not sure I'm going to play with him too much. Once again, apologise for any inconvenience caused by this change. So what they've done is they've replaced the magnetic movable eyes with the mechanical movable eyes. They've basically given you these 2 fireworks. They have added inscriptions to the one ring. Again, I mean, that thing's like fucking tiny, so I don't really think that's cool. But
is that ring intended to be the size of an actual one of the figure fingers?
Yeah.
Or is it?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah. Yes, it's going to be absolutely tiny. And you're not even going to be able to see
99% of people lose it the first day they open the
I would be so afraid of losing that.
Yeah. And as Zach said, you only see the writing when it's subjected to heat, and it glows up orange. So it's not really technically correct to be able to to have that in.
They could say that they've written anything on that fucking ring, and you'd have to believe.
Yeah, because it's so tiny.
It's such a weird thing. To do.
Yeah. So again, that's a non-news to me, and also this pipe cord for the pipe staff. Well, yeah, it should be on there anyway. It's not really make any difference to me at all. All I'm excited about is the fact that he's almost ready to go, and we got some some nice pictures of him lining up. It's a bit worrying that some look better than others, though. So
yeah,
when we saw
they're not overly consistent,
video,
are they?
No, when we saw that video with all the head sculpts, and they were bringing them out, and you could see they're all identical. Just looking at this bottom picture, there's someone go, I hope I don't get that one. And I know
like the one dead center his beard looks really good, but the rest of them, the beards look shorter.
Yeah. I mean, I don't want that one like next to him in the front. I don't mind the one to the far right, but there's quite a difference in like that one. Say the second one in the second row back.
Yeah,
that looks fucking dog shit. That is awful. So a little bit concerned about that. It could be a bit of a mixed bag, but I'm sure that a bit of futzing will sort that out.
Oh,
but
by the way, I don't know why I keep pointing at the screen. It's not like you can see what I'm pointing at. But
I can't see your finger. No.
Yeah, I do it with my mouse, expecting everyone to see.
So I mean, I'm getting this, and I'm excited, and I'm sure it's not going to be a perfect figure, but I'm excited. So are either of you guys getting this?
I'd love to, but it's just too much.
This is a figure that I would really enjoy seeing on somebody's collection tour, but I don't need to have it part of my collection. I mean, but it's clearly beautifully done, and I would be excited to see whoever is fortunate enough to get this. But Lord of the Rings is also another thing that I would not. That's not a series that I would invest time and money into. It was something I saw and I enjoyed it, but I'm not all in on it. But clearly, like that Aragon, I mean, I definitely want to see somebody open that up, because that was Oh, that
That's another
prototype
level.
is
That is,
yes.
yeah. That's the single greatest 1/6 scale figure I think I've ever seen.
I agree. Oh, it was amazing. I
Yeah,
mean, I still when
yeah.
I still see those photos, I mean, I still am having a hard time believing that's not actually the actor.
It's not actually him.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. This one I don't think is as good, but on the back of ordering Aragorn, I wanted to go with Gandalf. I just hope that, you know, for me, the head sculpt is 90% of the deal here. Yeah, the costume's nice and the accessories, but they've been done well enough before by Asmus. I don't think we're going to see a massive improvement there. It is all about that head sculpt, and I hope it is an absolute banger.
Do you know if they plan on making any of the
go on.
hobbits?
They say they are. They say
they are?
so.
Oh.
So they've only put the 2 up for pre-order. Legolas was in the original silhouettes, and they've said that they're definitely going ahead with Legolas. They have said that they intend to do the hobbits and Gimli, but they've said that they probably won't do Boromir. So it's a bit weird. I know Boromir is not that popular and stuff, but if you do the rest, you've got to do Boromir. You've got to finish the 9 off.
Yeah. No, Gimli, is that is that the one that said the ring? I love the ring.
No,
which one was that?
No,
that's
Gollum.
That's Gollum.
That's Gollum.
Gollum. Okay, now that will be something. I'd love to see that done by art. That would probably be really, really cool.
I mean, Asmus has just brought out a 2-pack with Smeagol and Gollum. It's not bad, but the problem is the price of these things. So I think I'm paying somewhere around £400 for this in the UK, and I don't mind that for Gandalf, Aragorn, and I said I'd probably be in for Legolas because that would be incredible. Because with the sculpted hair and all the braiding and everything, the Asmus Gimli I'm more than happy with, and I don't think like much with the Harry Potter. I can't really see myself spending over 300 quid on a Hobbit that's this big.
Yeah,
as good as they will be, and as good as the hair, I think I'd have to stick with the Asmus ones because it's a lot.
But you're
going to
get the Harry Potter though, weren't you?
No, I decided not to.
I thought you were going to
because I only would have. I was interested, but I only would have wanted the sculpted hair, and it was something like £500, I think.
So much in it.
Too much.
So expensive.
Way too much. You've got to draw the line somewhere, and even this is kind of like way above anything I've paid for.
Yeah, it's getting there, isn't it?
A figure before, and I need to be absolutely blown away by it, really. So definitely looking forward to seeing it, because so many people have had that Joker. I haven't seen one in hand, so this will be my first in-hand experience of in art, and I just kind of want to see what they're all about, and
if this is anywhere near as good as the Joker, you'll be so happy because that Joker is out of this world. I mean, I'm actually looking at the box right now, and I mean everything about it, from the way they did it, and then also one thing I really enjoy is presentation, the way you present the figure to me. And they did it in this asymmetrical box. It has this hard I'm not sure what thing it was, but it's carved out to fit all of the accessories, the bodies, the heads, and so everything is completely protected in there for the travel. And I was like, man, they really, I mean, that's what sold me. And I said, well, if I come across other figures that I really like from InArt, this is something I would like to spend my money on, even though it's a little bit more expensive. It's everything. It's the total experience for me. Just like if they just sent that stuff to me in a clamshell, I'd be very disappointed. But it's just a very classy presentation, and that's that has to count for something.
Definitely, it's the whole experience, isn't it? It's the whole unboxing experience, and the look and feel of the materials and stuff. So I am definitely looking forward to it. And I'll probably do an unboxing video. I know Zach will obviously be doing his as the ultimate Gandalf fan, but I'll probably probably shoot one, film one myself as well, because I am hoping to be blown away by it. Yeah.
Cool beans.
So yeah,
It's
so that's cool. It's good to see that he's just around the corner.
Wow. That's impressive. I really am I'm pleased. Oh, is that indie? Oh.
Yeah.
What is that too?
So
Okay.
Custom Corner. So these are I haven't got these yet. They should be coming to me late this week or early next week. So these are just been finished by Mark Simpson, who's a painter in the UK who's done all of my indie stuff. So this is Ian has been waxing lyrical about the hand sculpt from Will Millar that I sent him a few weeks ago that he's painted up and is now on his best bin hand. It was a really good sculpt, and he's recently just done indie. He said it's not the same. He's kind of tweaked the sculpt. Obviously, he's added the stubble and stuff. There's a hatted version. He also sent me the haired version as well, completely free. So shout out to Will, top man, really nice guy to deal with. So I haven't put a picture on here, and this torso was sent as well. So it's a mold of the Hot Toys Han Solo torso. It's never really bothered me, to be honest. I'm quite happy with the generic third party bodies. But if you really want to, you can replace you can put this torso onto a body, and then it replicates the Han Solo body, which people all rave as being like the best representation of Harrison Ford's kind of upper body. Obviously, the legs are generic to those bodies anyway. So yeah, gorgeous paint work. Really looking forward to getting that back. I've got to decide which. I don't know if you know, Thomas. I'm a big indie fan. I've got 13 6-scale indies plus a quarter scale. All custom bits and pieces. So I've got these 2 new heads coming in for indie. So I've got to decide who I'm going to swap them about with. Which ones are going to go where. So there'll be a few swapping about. So I'm thinking this guy might go on my Streets of Cairo indie. This is definitely a Raiders look, quite a young Harrison Ford. So specifically for Raiders. So it'll be one of my Raiders figures. I've got a few. And then this one, the one on the right, Ian knows very well as well. This is the Inigo Gil Revenge of the Sith Obi-Wan Kenobi sculpt. Never been a fan of the Hot Toys sculpt. Loved everything else about the figure, but the sculpt just didn't do it for me. And Ian picked one of these up years ago when Inigo did a run, and I've always loved it. I've always wanted one, and I managed to pick up basically a complete Revenge of the Sith Obi-Wan, but without the head sculpt for like £110, which is ridiculous. So I then messaged Inigo and I said, look, I know you did this run years ago, but could you possibly sell me a head sculpt? And he said, well, I've got one sitting here right in front of me. Yeah, you can have it. And so I bought that, and Mark's painted that up, and I absolutely love it. It looks incredible. And he said it's one of the best sculpts he's ever painted. Like, the detail on it is insane. In the beard.
Now, did he make the sculpt too?
No. The sculpt is from a guy called Inigo Gil in Spain.
Oh, okay.
He's done a lot of indies, a lot of he's done a Han, hasn't he? And and various other ones. But this is, so I can't wait to get this back and put it on my Revenge of the Sith Obi-Wan figure I've been looking to put together for years.
I like his furrowed brows. Those are, I mean, it's very subtle. But it's but you can clearly see it. That's pretty cool.
Yeah,
it's one of those.
That's always what's
practically paints itself. It's just it's so much fun to do. Like that, it was
just when I got the unpainted sculpt, I was like, wow, that's just beautiful. And and people still paying £300-400 for that Revenge of the Sith Obi-Wan, and I just don't like the head sculpt at all. So I've never bought. I had one when he first came out, and I just looked at it and went, don't like it. Sold it on. I've always wanted one, but I've always never pulled the trigger because that head sculpt. And then I thought, well, I've got this. I picked this one up for 110, an absolute bargain. And I thought, even if I can't get hold of it, I've not lost out, and luckily I managed to get the one I wanted. So that's fantastic. So yeah. So once I've got him and the indies, I'll put some pictures up. Probably show them on the next show or whatever. See what I've done with them. But yeah, very excited to get that package in the mail.
So you already have the Obi-Wan, like the body and the costume and everything already.
Everything is behind me. So how it's headless, yeah. So
okay.
And just put the I made his CCFL lightsaber because I make those, so I've got loads of those.
Are those the ones that you light up by USB? Or
they're kind of, they have a little power pack, so they basically you run cables into that and then they go into I attach them to, I buy like laptop charger things, just a plug with an end on, and then you plug that into like a little remote control, and then you wire that into them. So they're mains, so they're really, I mean, you can see a couple behind me. You can't really make them out, but there's a blue one, there's a purple one.
Oh, I see the blue one.
There's Yoda. There's Yoda's in the corner. They're really bright and they look fantastic. So yeah, he's all ready. He's got his saber and everything, and that's going to be awesome. But yeah, Mark's a top man, and he's always been very good to me, and I always gets my repeat business. So yeah, if anyone's looking for, I know Ian's a great painter as well, but he's struggled with his commissions with all his mini mayhem work, which we're going to see in a minute.
I must admit, it's all Warhammer for me at the moment.
Really? Oh,
yeah.
Okay.
But yeah, if you're in the UK and you're looking for a painter to paint some sculpts, you can't go on with Mark. He's a great guy, and really competitive prices, and yeah, it's fantastic. So yeah, talking of Warhammer, this is a new section we've got. Thomas, we've had it in 3 or 4 shows now.
A few weeks now,
this is our Warhammer painting mini mayhem. So
this is pretty much just indulging my new hobby. So yeah, I've been off for 2 weeks, so I've just been odd days out. When I come back, I'm kind of doing a couple of hours a day, so I managed to get loads smashed out. And a friend of mine sent us that little walk to paint. He's a guy at work, and he was like, I hear you paint stuff. I've got this little orc thing. Can you paint it for me? I was like, I've not done one of those in ages. So yeah, definitely.
What is it, like a shaman or something?
Those pretty much tiny. Wow, that.
Yeah,
wow, that is tiny.
That big.
Man,
so they are pretty small.
So
bastard thing, right? That's why I've now done the base, but this whole staff is just glued underneath his bracelet. That's it. Took fucking ages because kept doing it, kept knocking it, kept fucking taking it off.
Wow.
So, but once he's got it, it's his problem.
You got a steady hand to do this. I tell you what, man.
These aren't too bad, the tanks and stuff, because you're just blotting out lots of colour. Particularly these dreadnought things. They're called Contemptor
He
dreadnoughts.
always underplays. He underplays his painting skills massively. He goes, yeah, it's just blocking it out, blah, blah, blah. But they are bloody fantastic. And, I paint a bit. And these are just amazing.
It's these. So I've actually named that dreadnought on that one Larry, because I actually wrote Larry on his little chest bit. But
yeah.
And the finish on them, it really does. It has a look of. It definitely looks metallic, but it looks like the kind of aged metallic, that you would see like something that's kind of been through a little bit of battle, and it's starting to fade a little bit. But the especially the one with the green on it, it's kind of like when you see a metal tank or something like that that's been painted green, and then the paint slowly starts to fade over time due to stress and battle and everything. That's what it's starting to look like. I like that.
So the tank, I got a little hobby drill, started drilling loads of holes in it. There's like bullets, and started carving them out on that. And a lot of it, you just so what I did get something new, and it was a little airbrush. Okay, so this thing is
using that,
in fact, I've got a photo just to show you how little this thing is. And it's a game changer for painting. And it's going to come in handy for 6-scale stuff as well. 30 quid off of Amazon. It's meant to be for makeup. Why won't it let me show you? Oh, hang on, that's why. So this is meant to be for like makeup, nails, shit like that. It is one of these things. If it's ever going to come up.
And it's got that little pout. Yeah, I have one of those. I actually bought it on Wish. if you can believe that,
It's fantastic. Yeah.
So and it's
effectively that's the compressor, which is all I'm really buying it for is that, because that's the airbrush itself is a piece of shit. The whole thing costs 30 quid. The only thing you can't do is adjust the pressure. So it's great for it's great for blotting stuff out, for base coats. I wouldn't want to do anything too detailed with it. But if those Games Workshop paints, and this is why it's probably quite good for 6-scale stuff as well, they have something called contrast paints. Now, contrast paints are like glazes. So they're really high. The colours are so bright, vivid, but when you normally water something down, what it does is the paint breaks up, which then turns it into a wash. So a glaze is effectively you're adding glazing medium in it, and what it does, it keeps the colour but thins it. So you make it more transparent but keeps the colour. So they do a range of these contrast paints, and you can just whack these straight into an airbrush without having to thin them, because a lot of the problems with an airbrush is having to thin stuff and get the right consistency and shit like that. But that's been fantastic for stuff like these dreadnoughts and that, because I could just go bang bang bang, that's most of it done, blotted out, and then I can go in and start picking bits out that I need to do.
Well, I think I might have to come to you for a tutorial, Ian, because I have some airbrushes that I purchased and supplies with every intention of using it, but I just I don't know enough about it, so I may have to get in contact with you and see if I can get a little tutorial.
So this is the first airbrush I've ever owned.
Really?
Because I've always been paintbrush. I'm going to do everything with a paintbrush because because I've only got this little room really, and I've got my 3D printers, and I don't have anywhere else to put the extraction and stuff like that for a proper airbrush and have the proper compressor going. But that thing, I can just sit at the dining room table where I do most of my painting, shove a box up and go bang, 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 done. Next one, bang, 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 done. And get, I mean, it won't be any good for stuff like that orc.
Right. Oh, okay.
Because unless I wanted a lot of similar colour on there, where I've kind of gone different browns, but the green on that orc is all contrast paints. Now, what you can do with those, particularly when you're doing minis, spray paint it all black. Then get a white dry brush and just go to town. Dry brush over the entire mini, so you're picking out all the raised areas. Then go in with these contrast paints. And then what that does, because they're clear, but it still maintains the colour, is it picks up all the highlights. And you get some really good results just doing that. Yeah. So a lot of... Because obviously you play a game with these, so a lot of people go to tournaments and stuff like that. And if you don't turn up with painted stuff, you automatically lose points. Oh, okay. So people try and paint stuff. So you've got two types of painters, really. People who paint stuff super quick, who do a lot of contrast paints. A lot of this like slap chop method is what it's called. And you've got other people who are like, I don't play in tournaments. I want my models to look as good as possible. And you kind of have to straddle that line, because I like to play, like I've got mates that I play the game with. And there's certain stuff, like the model last week we spoke about, that Lionel Johnson. It took me ages to paint it, and I have to be so careful when I take it out, particularly like, because some of them have tiny little bits that are so thin that as soon as you put them in a foam case, they just snap, and you're like, fuck. In fact,
and also, like, when you're playing, you might be grabbing like
exactly that
handfuls.
You go to grab it,
you know, and
yeah. Well, that's what happened with this guy. He's got a little circular piece that's meant to sit above his head, and as I'm painting, I've reached across to grab something, just caught it, it's pinged off, and I'm like, well, if it's done that while I'm painting it, I'm just not going to glue it on because it's not going to last. It's just going to get fucked. But so I've been quite busy painting this. I have got some bits to do. Like I've got a Sabine Wren head that's 6 scale. I do have some 6 scale stuff. I've got a Thrawn I want to finish off that I started blotting out a while ago. So I have 6 scale stuff.
Wait a minute, is that going to be Dr. Manhattan?
No, that was Grand Admiral Thrawn.
Oh, okay, good. I was like, wow.
But I've got all these like heads dotted around the place. I'm like, right, I will do. I've just not got around to it.
Well,
So
I'm sorry. Go ahead.
go on. No, go on, Tosh.
No, I was just going to say that my mother used to, when she was living, she used to do a lot of work with ceramics, and when she would paint, I noticed that she would do that. She would actually paint the figure all in black, and then dry brush over. And I always wondered, why does she do that? But I mean, that makes perfect sense because your black is going to kind of fit in all of those deep crevices and things like that. Yeah. And then as you paint over it with the dry brush and with other washes and stuff, you'll still see the contrast in the shadow areas, but you also will be able to see the deep. That makes sense now.
Yeah. It's like it's like when you look at that orc. So when you look at the skulls, a lot of that is just so that was black to begin with, then a bit of a white over the top, and then a dark wash that then sat into the recesses, and then a dry brush over the top of a yellowy, like almost bony type colour. And then what you do is you just make sure you don't completely cover each bit underneath, and then you get a load of different colours coming through, and then all you got to do really is pick out the rope that's holding them on. But yeah,
so for my benefit, Ian, tell me what these guys are. Give me the full lowdown on what these are.
So the Orc is Age of Sigma, so you don't have to worry about that. You won't see one of those.
No.
You'll see something similar, but not the same. Yeah. These two at the bottom are Contemptor Dreadnoughts, so they start. You can play those in Horus Heresy or Warhammer 40,000. I played these the other day, and they are nasty as fuck because they've got a special rule that once they're destroyed, you roll a dice, and on a 2+ they get back up again. With roll another dice, and that's how many wounds they have. So they're particularly nasty because they're bastards to kill. They just get back up again. And then that tank in the middle is a Horus Heresy tank, which is a Vindicator tank. They do have them in 40k, but they look slightly different. But I prefer the Horus Heresy.
So that's a standalone game, is it?
So Horus Heresy. So for me, I nerd out of this type of stuff. So the lore in Warhammer 40,000 it's massive. There's so much backstory. That's what I really like about it. And effectively, you had Space Marines who went out into the universe. The Emperor of Mankind sent them out to unite all of mankind. Now, makes them sound like the good guys. They're not. They're fucking arseholes. They effectively rock up to your planet and go, you descended from humans. You need to worship the Emperor. He's your emperor. And they're like, well, hang on. We've been here for thousands of years and we've got our own system and we quite like it. And they go, join or we just wipe you out. So they rebel. They get wiped out. And they call it bringing them to compliance. So they effectively eradicate anything. And if they come across a completely alien species, they just eradicate it. They just wipe it out. If you're not human, that they don't want to know. So everyone goes, Space Marines, and they're the good guys of 40k. There is no good guys. Every chapter, every single faction is an arsehole. It's just varying degrees of arsehole. So you've got Horus Heresy, which is set thousands of years before 40k, and that's effectively the Space Marine civil war that they had, where Horus rebelled against the Emperor, and then 40k is set thousands of years later, where they're still fighting, but you've got all the other factions and things like that. So the tank's from Horus Heresy, but you can use it in 40k. Same with the Contemptor Dreadnoughts. So the two Contemptor Dreadnoughts are painted up as Dark Angels, and that one in the middle, I got tired of the Dark Angel scheme and nicked a bit from a faction called Mortifactors. So started because I really like the white armor. But I like the white mixed in with the green. But what I wanted to do for my for the Contemptor Dreadnoughts was have those like traditional Dark Angels. So when you play, you won't have access to any. Well, you might have access to some of this because you want to go Custodes. So Custodes are effectively. So if you think of Space Marines, and then underneath them you have normal people. So above Space Marines you have Custodes. So Custodes are the Emperor's bodyguards. So they are super duper Space Marines. They are fucking the dog's bollocks. Super hard to play at the moment, but the models are very, very cool. So they're not a bad start. They're not a bad army to start with.
Yeah,
but you
so
can ally with this lot. I was going to say you can ally with this lot. So you can go. Say you play a 2,000 point game, you can say 25% of my army is going to be Space Marines because they're allies. So you can still use some of this.
So you'll be pleased to know that I actually played my first game last week. So
nice.
Well, with my son. So, but we obviously we teamed up. So we had Adeptus Mechanicus, which is his army, versus Space Wolves, and it was really good. It was. I learned a lot, and I enjoyed it possibly more than he did. So that's what started me on this. So we went round to his mates. His dad's massive fan. He's got the big table with all the scenery and everything. He's starting them off on the basics, so we didn't sort of play any of the
like no strategy,
special rules or multiplayer. It was just basically just kill each other. Move, shoot, fight, charge, and all that, and the measuring and stuff. And I loved it. So he's like, you need to get your own army. You come and play me. And I was just reading through them all, and I went, I want them. Custodes. The Codex turned up today, so I'm going to start devouring that.
You bought the Codex?
Yeah.
So that might
8th
be the
edition,
9th.
because that's what he plays. So.
Okay. You're playing 8th.
I specifically got 8th because he's playing, because that's the one he knows. So we're playing 8th at the moment. Get the kids learning that and everything. So I mean, I don't know how they've changed. I know they simplified a lot of stuff in 10, didn't they?
We're
playing.
9 went super complicated. Lots of stratagems, lots of stuff to remember. 10th is now a lot simpler. I'm really enjoying. So I didn't play 8th. I played 9th. So I played 5th, 6th, 9th, and now 10th. 10th so far has been my favourite.
So are these role play games or board games or
effectively
tabletop games?
So
you've got.
So what you do is you go. So each unit will have a points value. So if you said to someone, "We'll play 2,000 points," you've got 2,000 points to build your army. And what you'll have is you've got tanks, planes, troops. So you'll have squads of say 10 men. So you end up having quite a big kind of army. And then traditionally what you do is you play. It's not all about just killing each other. So you could effectively. So I'm trying to teach my mate 10th at the moment, and when I played him last week, it got to a point where I only had one thing left on the board. He'd absolutely fucking tabled me, but I could still score objectives. So and that's how you score, by taking these different objectives. And then the game at the moment, each turn you draw 3 of these cards, these objective cards. So you have your main objective, which you go through all the way through. And then you have these other kind of random secondary objectives which really change how you play. Because you could be losing on primary because you've got no chance of holding something. And then you'll get like a secondary which will say, right, you need to have a squad or a model in 3/4 of the board. So as long as you can get something into 3/4 of the board, you'll start scoring points. And the idea is to, by the 5th or 6th round, when the game ends, to have more points than your opponent. It's changed massively from when I first started playing, like 5th edition, because that was pretty much just kill each other. No one gave a shit about any type of objective. But in fact, this is a model from 5th that my mate gave me, and this is one of the newer models. So you can see the size difference between the two. So they're both Space Marines. That's 5th edition. That's 9th and 10th. There you go. See the
Show us
difference?
again. Yeah, it was a bit slow. Yeah.
So they are, it's the game is completely different to how it used to be. But yeah, it's a good time to get into it, because with the 10th edition, we've now got the Leviathan box set and things like that. So there's so much. It's now's the time to get back into it, because there's so much.
So these
more
things
to get.
aren't cheap, Todd. They're cheap by 6 scale standards.
6 scale standards, yeah.
Yeah. So basically, like for a starter set, that would probably be enough for like maybe 1,000 point something, roughly speaking. You talk about 75, 80 pounds. But some of the figures can be like 20 pounds on their own, and obviously you got to paint them. And a lot of the value is because you get to play them. They're not like an Airfix model kit would be cheaper, because it's just plastic that you put on the shelf. Because the better figures have got, they're more powerful. They cost you more points in the game. So you're kind of like half of what you're paying is for the. So if you don't play them, they're quite expensive just as models to paint, which is how my son started off. He just wanted to build them and paint. But obviously now we're kind of starting to play, then you're getting more value out of those figures then, because you paid for their usage as a play piece as well. So so I'm going to start building my own army so that I can thrash him, obviously, and play my mate as well occasionally. So I've succumbed, Ian. I was trying to resist, but I've been doing a lot of building and painting with him, which I've enjoyed. Nowhere near Ian's level, but I can paint to a tabletop standard, and as we said, sometimes I think that's good enough, because like we were playing and he had Skitarii warriors, and we were scooping up like 6 at once and chucking them on the side. You can't be too precious about that, that paintwork, because it might get chipped or something might get snapped off, and obviously you can always rebuy them and redo them, but there's and as I say, some people would never play with them, would they might pay someone £300 to paint one of these, and then they'll put it on the shelf and never touch it, like we do with our 6 scale. But obviously you've got to be a lot closer to them to actually appreciate that the quality. So we see them very much as gaming pieces now, but it's nice to have them looking good.
Yeah, looking really special.
It definitely helps.
And you have like heroes and stuff, don't you? So some people will put more effort into that, or the bigger pieces. And,
so that's what I do.
Your rank and file, you don't pay quite so much attention to them.
Yeah. So what I do is any troops, I break down into groups of 5. I do 5 models at a time. Then I'll move on to a tank or a dreadnought or a hero or something a little bit out of the ordinary, something a bit better. So stuff like Abaddon. So he's kind of hero. He's the chaos guy. So he took ages to paint just because he's so much more detailed than the rest. But if I've got like a squad, so I just break stuff up by 5 models. To be fair,
you play orcs, don't you? You could have like hundreds of them on the table.
I used to. I've not played orcs in 10th.
Right. Oh, okay.
I'm jinxed when it comes to orcs. So orcs, I used to when I got back into it in 9th. Orcs was the army I went for, and I can't roll for shit with orcs. They're shit shooting, so you're hitting most stuff on a 5. And trying to, so you might get 30 shots. You're rolling 30 dice, and every 5 you hit something. Just getting 1s and 2s the entire time. And then I'll go and play Space Marines or Chaos, and I'll roll, and I'll get all 5s and 6s. Like it's just mad. So the orcs I'm selling, and so are my Chaos. They're all going.
So Ian, do you also print yours with your printer?
Yes, I do. In fact, since getting back into this, I do so much more printing because there's so much more out there. And a company called Puppets War does really good proxy stuff. I've just downloaded some bikes, and in fact, this is a print. This is an orc print. It's a bit dusty, but that's a print.
Wow! Oh, that was cool. That one,
Captain. I think it's Captain Grimhook on a Squigosaur. So he's a print.
I love these names,
A holo
Squigosaur.
print. Yeah, it's fantastic. But yeah,
bad fish there. So cool. You can share that with your son. So have you started to introduce your boy to this yet? I know he's a bit younger than mine.
We played a couple of games. I've kind of let him win with some of the more complicated. Like we've not done anything complicated. In fact, we got the Leviathan box set and just went. Right, I'll play Tyranids and I'll halve the amount, and you play the Space Marines, and he annihilates me, and he loves it. And then we did in 9th edition. We bought one of the starter box sets, which was about 50 quid at the time. And you got a group of Space Marines, a group of Necrons, a rule book, and it pretty much
we've
went
got that
through
one.
how to play it.
Yeah.
So I've nicked the Space Marines because I wanted the Assault Marines that were in there. It's annoying because they only give you 5 and really I need 10, so I need 5 more. But
I painted all those up. Yeah,
but I just can't find another 5.
Right. Yeah.
But we play a lot. We played that for a while, and he loved that. But he refuses point blank to paint anything.
Right.
And he goes, well, Daddy, I won't paint as good as you, so I don't want to do it. And I'm like, that's not the point. I'll show you how to do it. And I'm like, mate, like, if I showed you online, there's thousands of people better than I am at this. Like, I'm not anything special when it comes to painting this stuff. There's so many good people out there. But he's just point blank refuses. He's like, no, I won't be able to paint as good as you. I'm like, well, you won't, because I've been painting since I was your age. Like, you just need to do it. So he's a bit like, no, don't want to paint it. And I'm like, and I'm very stubborn. I'm like, I will quite happily buy you whatever you want. I'll get you a combat patrol, but you have to paint it. I'm not painting it for you. You have to paint it. And so we're at loggerheads now because he's like, nope, fine, just won't play.
How old is he?
So 10. 10. So he's just on the cusp of.
Of my son's coming up 13. He was probably about 11 when he started. So and he's a bit the same. He likes building them. Not so keen on painting, just because he doesn't think he can do it. But we went to Wayland Games, Wayland Games, and they did like a little workshop thing, and we all painted a figure, and he chose a Space Marine. I think the rest of us did, and he won. And genuinely, he was the best one because it was just one model. Took his time, he did a really good job on it. And I said, that's what you just need to do when you get home. All right, you might have 20 sitting in front of you, but just take them one at a time. Or if you get more confident, you can kind of batch paint. Yeah, that's what I've been trying to say to him.
Batch painting is so much easier. If you're painting a pouch on 1, just do it on 5. You're just doing that stage.
So and you'd love this. There's a friend of mine that they've got this like role-playing club. So there's like an industrial estate just down the road from here, and there's one called St Anne's, and it does all like kitchen, bathroom stuff. But the guys there, they've played this stuff since they were kids, and they know, like my mate and his other mate, they know from scouts and role-playing when they were kids. So they just bought this other unit and just for playing in, and it's like a huge you go in and it's just massive tables with all stuff set up, and like all the walls are just full of shelves with scenery, and it's brilliant. So we go there on a Monday night and we just dick about, and they paint stuff and they're modeling, they're 3D printing, and it's brilliant. And the kids love it. Like they play their own little games and stuff, but they do proper games there on like every night of the week, all sorts like Napoleonic stuff, World War II stuff, bolt action. There's a proper D&D room, and they've got all lighting and smoke effects and amazing stuff. So, and they're all just geeks. They're all.
Yeah, I'd recommend to anyone to get into this kind of stuff. The thing is, six scale's great. I've slowed right down because I see something, I like it, I buy it, I put it in there. I might mod it. Let's be honest, I will mod it because that's what I like to do. I'll fuck about with it and I'll stick it in there. Or doing this, as much as I love painting 6-scale heads, the market is really dried up. There's not that much going on, really, if I'm honest. Everyone has slowed right down. Again, you kind of get stuff, and I'm getting sick of spending so much. Like, to put it in perspective, a 6-scale head will cost you around 150 quid by the time it's posted to you. You've then got to paint it.
Yeah.
The 40k brand new 10th edition starter set with like 90 odd models in it is 150 quid. You get the rule book.
Yeah.
That'll keep me more than entertained for fucking ages. Like, I just can't. I'm struggling at the moment to kind of keep excited about 6-scale because everything. I mean, look at that. Look at the Stormtrooper we spoke about today. 250 notes. Like, and actually, when you break it down and you look at it, it's another Stormtrooper. It's not. It's not that. It's iconic. But we're starting to punch up those prices where. Well, actually, I could probably get a really good Stormtrooper statue, or even if quarter scale stuff was more popular, I'd probably move into that now. But this has really filled a niche because I've got so much stuff I can paint. I can do a couple of hours in the evening, and it's so detailed. Like, and there's this, I can print stuff, I can buy stuff, you can get it second hand. If you get it second hand, you've got to strip it down a bit, and people don't tend to understand. Like, if you purely want to play, people will buy complete painted armies and
that's what my mate does. Yeah.
Me, someone gives me a price and they go, well, it's a complete army, it's this, that, and I'm like, but I've got to strip it all and repaint it. And they're like, oh, do you not like my paint job? I'm like, it's nothing personal. I do it. I do it with 6-scale stuff as well.
That's the fun bit. It's the hobby,
painted,
isn't it?
Yeah. I've got this head painted by so and so. I'm like, paint might as well not exist because I'm just going to strip it off and paint it myself. Like, it doesn't matter how good it is. It's just part of it for me, and that's always been it. So I'm loving this a bit more than I am 6-scale at the moment. But it'll ebb and flow. I think he got a phone call, that was all.
He did. He won the lottery.
He did. Exactly. That's it.
No. So I am embracing the Warhammer. I'm enjoying it. I've got the codex. I'm going to read through, and I'm going to. My mate, he's like, I've never played against them. And he said it's going to be interesting because it's obviously, it's a very like. I might have for 5. I mean, we're playing 500. We might have to go to 1,000 because 500 gives me about 6 men. But they kick ass because they've only got to roll 2. Anything other than a 1 hits, wounds, defends, everything.
It's worth looking at playing 10th, seeing what they're like in 10th. Custodies have always been a bit difficult to play, but they are the best of the best. That's why the point limit 500 doesn't get you much.
I think like what you were saying about objectives and stuff, that's probably there. I know some of them can teleport and they do have bikes, but obviously if you've only got 6 or 7 men, it's going to be difficult to.
And I'm not sure how 8th works objective wise, because I know in 9th and in 10th you've got your secondaries and stuff like that, but you do tend to find it difficult to score objectives in 9th and 10th when your army's been depleted and you don't have a lot of models. Because if I go, like, I was trying to do 1,000 points the other day, and if I use the Lion, which is the Primarch of the Dark Angels, their big boss guy, he's about 350 points. Well, in a 1,000-point army, he's taken over a quarter of your army. Then by the time you get in like the hard-hitting stuff, like some dreadnoughts and things like that, you don't have a lot of mobility. So you can't really start to take objectives because you just don't have the manpower. But on the other hand, if I had 1,000 points of orcs, I'd be taking 2 or 3 cases with me, but they're like paper. You fart in their general direction. You're pretty much killing most of them.
They're just fodder, aren't they?
Yeah, exactly. It's only their like specialist units.
But it is great that there's so many
get about.
different factions, different races, so many different ways to play the game. So, you can pick one that you fancy and go to town with it.
The general rule with your first army is you get what looks cool.
Yeah.
You get what looks cool. You go, right, I'm going to try playing these. And you paint them, you love them, you start playing. And then after maybe 6 months, you go, yeah, these are cool, but I mean, I like the look of these now. Because you start to go to more games, you start to see other armies, go, well, they look cool.
Yeah.
And then you end up, what I tend to have, I have my main army and then kind of my backup army. So at the moment, my main army is Space Marines and my secondary army is kind of Death Guard, because in 9th they were fantastic. In 10th they're now bottom of the table. They had everything that made them tough taken away. So now they're really slow and they die quite easily. So they're not the best army at the moment, but their models are exceptionally cool. So they're effectively zombie Space Marines. So I've kind of got those kind of held back. So it's always worth having a couple of armies you can kind of flip around, because particularly in 10th, because what they do is they have this thing called Meta Watch. So they keep track of all the tournaments. They look at the win rates. And they said that the ideal win rate is between 40 and 60%, something like that. So if you sit within that band, that is, those armies are performing as they're designed. They're doing what they need to do.
Yeah.
If you've got armies, because at the moment you have these things called knights, and these things are like that. So you have 3 of them in 1,000 points, and they're effectively these giant walkers. They're dominating at the moment. They are absolutely. My mate played these the other day, and he's got this thing called a lance. Hits on 2s, wounds on 2s, and does these things called devastating wounds, which effectively you don't get a save for. And he's got like 30 dice he rolls at once, and you're like, don't even bother rolling. I'll just
I just
killed everything.
Yeah.
So so stuff gets nerfed and stuff gets boosted and stuff like that. So the game's always changing. Which is good.
So that's my view. I'm gonna chuck like 100 quid at a set of Custodies, play some games with them. If I really don't like them, I could try something else. So that's the plan. So
and in the
we've
meantime,
lost a few viewers.
And in the meantime, you've had fun because you've not only played it, but you've also had the fun of creating your own army, painting them, and kind of you get that ownership of it.
You get attached to them, and then they've got all like water transfers and stuff to put on as well. So you could.
Do y'all ever trade armies? Like when you have, let's say you have an army that you have kind of used and it's no longer applicable for the upper levels. Do you ever trade those armies with other players and things like that?
Yeah. Effectively, the whole buy-sell trade that goes on in 6K goes on in this as well. There's groups. People will go, I've got this army, I want to sell it. What normally happens, it's quite hard to sell a whole army on its own. So what normally happens is you just price everything individually, and people take what they want. Because some armies, you could have a whole army that consists sort of like fast attack, like bikes and buggies and stuff like that. Or you could have quite a like hand-to-handy type focused armies. Just taking the bits that you want is sometimes a bit easier than buying someone's complete army, because they would have built that for their playstyle. So you just take the bits you want. There's certain characters that always come up.
Do you do any of the stuff? Because it's funny, because you have like different loadouts and stuff that you can do, because all the weapons have their own points as well. And have you ever done either like where the people magnetize them so you can swap them out?
So that Contemptor Dreadnought on the left, that was second hand. The base is 3D printed, but everything came glued on that, so I just haven't bothered. The one on the right is that I was going to magnetize, but I didn't need to, because the gun, as you pull it out, it's quite tight. So the guns are just swappable. I painted up all the guns and I just put them on, and then he doesn't really have any other options for the right arm. I'm painting a drop pod at the moment that my mate gave me that I'm magnetizing all the flaps, so when it lands you open it up. It was all pegged, but the pegs were horrible, so I just cut them out, drilled them, shoved into Murph magnets, and now that's all magnetized.
Okay,
cool.
You're coming across quite crackly. You hearing that as well, Thomas?
Yeah.
Ian's breaking up a bit. Yeah.
I've got nothing on my end, but
no.
Well, so I'll shut
Okay.
up now anyway, because we want to talk Ahsoka. I want to know what you guys thought if you saw it.
I didn't put a slide up. I saw Barbie yesterday. Quite enjoyed it.
Oh, you did?
Yeah, I did. Yeah, I went with my wife, and I really enjoyed it. And I certainly wasn't offended by any of the messages it was putting out. I found it quite funny actually. I liked it. I enjoyed it. It was definitely very empowering for women, and I think that was a great message it put out. And all the stuff claimed that men was all in good spirit and it was all a good laugh, and it was good. It was good. I'm not going to race to see it again when it's on streaming, but I must say it was an enjoyable experience. Have you seen it, Thomas?
No, I haven't. I'm still not going into the theaters right now.
Oh, you said
because I'm still trying to protect my immunity level until I can get another booster shot of my vaccine. But I'll probably wait for streaming.
It's good. You haven't seen it, have you?
No, if it's on, I'll watch it, but I'm not going to make any special
it's definitely worth a watch. So anyway, Ahsoka. I enjoyed it. I've watched it. I've watched both episodes twice now. I watched them with my mate last night, and then I watched them with my son and his friend that was over today, and they loved it, and it was really good because I haven't watched Rebels. I did start watching it with my son years ago, and he got bored. But obviously, I understand that these characters are all from Rebels, and it was quite good because his friend had watched it also. He was able to kind of fill in some of the gaps. I thoroughly enjoyed it. Yeah, it was really good.
I think they did.
So you were able to watch
really
it and make sense of it, even not having a full recollection of the past.
Yeah,
because I've seen none of it, so so I was going in completely a blank slate.
I think they did a really good job of making it so that if you have seen it, you're like, okay, I know what that is. But if you haven't, it's not integral to the story.
Okay.
They kind of set it up so you know who these people are, and you know that they're looking for different people. But I thoroughly enjoyed it.
And I found I could follow it, and it's made me want to go and check out some Rebels now, and fill in those blanks kind of thing, the backstory. But it's cool, and we saw the wall that we saw at Celebration with the painting of the heroes, which was
Rebels
cool.
crew and that,
I think the special effects with the ships and stuff was outstanding as usual. I enjoyed the characters. I really liked the general, the Green Lady. I thought she was cool. It's all good. I can't really complain about it for the moment. I think it's been set up quite well for the rest of it. So definitely worth a look.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't think I'm mad into it just because it only came out yesterday. I'm liking it. Lots of knockbacks.
No spoilers.
It's not a closed shop, so you don't have to have watched Rebels to really get anything out of it. But very good.
As I say, I think it's quite good
in
the fact it's intrigued me to go and invest in some Rebels action. So it's good. It was good.
It's very good. Very, very, very good. So
okay, so that's
you
kind of it.
You take a deep breath and go through the list.
Yeah, I'll do. Yeah. So just like to say thank you very much to our beautiful Patreonies. We're Ian Seaby, René Mendez, Eric Mariscal, Quinn Aguirre, King Louis, Mark Pearson, Paul Schreiber, Equan, Chris Valencerina, Ben Thomas, Chris Ledley, David Jones, Sam Gist, Dominator, Joel Brader, Thomas Clark.
You're welcome.
Beautiful man. See, from humble beginnings, you've grown into a beautiful presenter. Eric Switzer, Six Guns Figs, Bad Fish, Toy Cartel, Danny Lee, Dini Martin, Stephen Crep, Big Fern, Susan Marroquin, Mark Phillips, Lisa Martin Bomonsky, Rick DeCorio, Ricardo Valdez, Jose CZ, Owen Escasina, Illustrious Rainer, Alid Morgan, Kathy Wah, Derek Derek Bezazinski, Aris Portillo, Alvin J, Jazz Carroll, Joe Ridley, Pablo Meza, D-Rock, Matt Clevenger, Seth Tucker, CC3PO, Scott Smith, Bon Maton, Stephen Purchase, Sonia Yatsu, Scott Bradley, Stephen Rhea Stanley, Eddie Manzanares, Louis Bennett, Chip Perrin, Jimmy Hernandez, Gigi Judgmental, and Brenton Palmer. We thank you all, beautiful angels. If you're not already a Patreon, you can join. The hot seat is $5 a month, gets you digital benefits, digital copies of the stickers, plus Oxoff's Duck replay and Patreon chat. Weekly shout outs on the show. Sweet Angels $7.50 a month gets you a physical sticker sent to your door and all the previous perks. Certified Crispy, $15 a month gets you the Certified Crispy certificate on first pledge and all the other previous benefits. And the Water Guy, currently you get the Water Guy exclusive POG Deluxe set. I think Zach was possibly talking about changing that up, but I think that's still the case for the moment. And doubles all the stickers we send, so you can send them to your friends and family.
What exactly is a POG?
Have,
I'm sorry. I was.
Yeah, they're like.
I have no clue.
They're like little like carbon circles. So.
And what do you do with them?
You play a game where it's fucking brilliant. You'd stack them all up in a big pile, and then you'd have a metal. If you were fancy, you'd have a metal. If you were a peasant, you'd have a plastic one, and they were called slammers. Yeah. And what you'd have to do is launch them into the pile, and every one that flipped over that landed face down or face up, I can't remember one way or the other, you got to keep. But so the pile would be made up of yours and your mate's pogs, which you put in.
Oh, okay.
And then yeah, you play like that. It was all the rage in the 90s.
Okay.
So,
yeah, I've heard that term. I just didn't know what they were. Yeah.
Yeah. So I think there was one of the shows somebody mentioned them, and then everyone was like, "Oh yeah, I remember Pogs." So there's they made some CW Pogs, and I think they would talk about some new designs for another set, but I'm not sure if they're going to go with that or go with something different. But that's what they are. So you'll get it on a card, and they push out. They're like cardboard circles, basically.
Okay.
Yeah, so we've got the July-August Patreon benefits. I guess that we've probably got some new ones coming soon as we edge towards the end of August. But for the moment, we've got the Zach's Wonderland Hollow sticker and the Small Talk new logo sticker, and obviously our buddies Small Talk who alternate with us on a Thursday. They are right behind us on their way to 100. They hit episode 99 next week, and they'll hit 100 the week after us. I feel a little bit bad because they should have got there before us, but obviously they had a few hiatuses with hosts leaving and things like that. So we've pulled the rug from under their feet, but they're with us neck and neck, and I think those 2 weeks are going to be a fantastic double.
We've been consistent, but we've been consistent.
Yeah,
that's what it is.
Yeah, but for us to both hit the 100 mark within a week of each other is pretty fantastic, really. So congratulations to them as well, and it's going to be a good couple of weeks on the network. So yeah, you can also become a YouTube channel member. We've got Absolute Irwin, Alvin J, Andre, Andrews IB, Andrew Gibo, Benjamin Hanson, Big Old Fan, Blurred Dad Life, Bob Dylan, CC3P, Christopher E. Cram, CT603, DJ, Dominator, Dante's Boneyard, Eclectic Collector, Equan, Fat Batman, Gare Bear, Gotham Cenobites, Jake, Just Another Friday Night, Justin Sports Card, KJ Smith, LV Avengers 702, Mark Pearson, Money Mendez, Mr. Mom, Collectibles Knight, OG Fan, OMFG Rick, Shane the One, Six Figure Focus, Paul Schreiber, Philip the Four, S Beam, Sam Gist, Slifer, That Man Again, SpongeBob SquareBalls. Thank you, Thomas.
You're welcome.
Sunnyvale Russ, Ben Thomas Show, Love You Ben, see you Sunday, or maybe not this Sunday. I think we might be having the night off. Toy Cartel and Zeke. If you want to become a YouTube channel member, if you're a Patreon, it costs you 99 cents a month, gets you loyalty badges, emojis, and member shout-outs. If you're not Patreon, you can become a YouTube channel member on your own. $2.99 a month to join the Peanut Gallery, gets you perks from previous levels, member shout-outs on the show. We have TeePublic. If you fancy some swag from the network, we've got loads of different designs. This is their OFAC celebration t-shirt. I'm not sure if they've sold any. I bought one. That was, but if you fancy one, you can go. There's other designs in there. Well, we don't get much of a kickback from it, but there's loads of cool stuff on there. Check them out. And this I'll leave the rest of the network in your hands. This is a brand new slide, I think. So we've chopped a couple of bits off. It's been slimmed down a little, but we have the magnificent 9 here by the looks of it now.
That's
So,
very cool.
This is us. This is everyone. This is Collecting Weekly Live Unboxing, where, I mean, the clue's in that title. It's Collecting Weekly, and they are unboxing things live. That's pretty much the general ethos. Question of the week, which changes every week, a different question for different people. Ox PD, which is Zach dressed up as the policeman from the Village People, imposing his will on the imaginary people of Los Santos, I believe. It looks like a GTA mod. We've got Small Talk, which, again, they're hitting their 100th with the itty-bitty things in collecting. Bricks and Brews, people getting pissed up making up Lego. Live and Let Dice, which we will not call them nerds because that is not a done thing. They are our many brethren. We've got After Dark, which is the seedier side of things. You've got us, OFAC, the Jewel in the Crown.
I get to get non-classy there and then.
See, there you
Yeah.
go. That's us. That's us. We don't mind naughty words. We don't get offended very easily. And that is us. And then you've got Collecting Weekly Live, which is on, which feels like every day. They are on constantly. Good bunch of guys. This is the network. This is everyone. Us, the lot. It's been fun. So, that's us.
Yeah, it's been a great show. Thanks so much for joining us, Thomas, today. It's I thought it was going to be quite a short show. We got some great discussions going and stuff. So it was nice to have you on. I'll enjoy streaming with you on a Sunday. So I can't remember if we're doing this Sunday or not.
I think Ben said that he wanted to take take Sunday off, so we might not have it then.
Yeah,
but
I think so.
The next time he's on, I'll definitely be there.
That's always a fun show. Let's get nuts on Sunday night. And obviously we've said that you must attend episode 100 in 2 weeks' time. So
I shall. I will be right there.
We will see you there. We're going to have some good topics to discuss, and also the giveaway, if we can work out how we're going to do it. But So thanks everyone for watching, and we will see you for OFAC 100 in 2 weeks' time.
We will do. Catch you.
100.
100.
Woo! Bye.